The small shop owner has bought in the Santa or in any right bazaar.
एक ही जगह पे मिलके those type of plastics are known as thermosetting plastics. Comparison, there are 3 types:
up, down, right, left.
I am not inferior to anyone.
We are Clara. We are top on the Everest. Congratulations.
I want to be a leader.
A colorful good morning, Sweros. This is Divya Sweros studying 8th standard at Mahabubnagar School. Friends, today before entering into our topic, let me ask some questions. Will you answer, Miss Sweros? Okay. Friends, what do we eat daily? Yes, we eat food daily, friends. Friends, how do we prepare our food? Yes, friends, we prepare our food by cooking. Friends, what is the main thing that we need for cooking? You are right, Sweros. We need fire to cook our food. Friends, to cook our food, we need fire. To get fire, what is the main thing that we need? Yes, we need wood, coal, kerosene, etc. to get fire. Friends, when the material is burning, we get fire. So, that burning here we calling as combustion. Okay, friends? Here we calling that burning is as combustion. Friends, what is combustion? Yes, combustion is a chemical process in which a material reacts with the oxygen present in the air to generate heat is called combustion. Yes, friends? Yes. See here, combustion is a chemical process in which a material reacts with oxygen present in the air to generate heat is called combustion. Friends, say this is the combustion. Friends, so in the process of combustion, the material which will burn produce light and heat. Let's do an activity to understand this very clearly. Friends, first I am taking a paper. I am checking whether the material will produce light and heat which will burn. See here, friends, I am keeping the paper, I am burning the paper, see. See here, friends, yes, I am feeling it is hot and it also producing light. So, by this we can say the materials which burn will produce light and heat. Now, I am going to burn incense stick, it means agarbatti. See, friends, here it is giving us light and it also giving heat. So, by this we can also say that the burning material will produce light and heat. Now, let us burn a rock. Okay, friends, let us burn a rock. See, is this burning here, friends? No, the rock is not burning. Now, I am burning a camphor. Do you know camphor, friends? See, this is the camphor. Now, I am burning camphor. See, friends, here the camphor is burning and it gives heat and it also giving light. Friends, so by this experiment we can say that the burning material will produce light and also heat. Friends, there are many things around us. Do all the materials will burn? No, friends, all the materials will not burn. Some materials will burn and some other will not burn. Friends, okay, we learnt about what is combustion. But what do we call the burning materials? As friends, you are right. We call the burning materials as combustible materials. Okay, friends? See here, the material which burn when brought near a flame, they are called combustible materials. For example, in the above activity, we saw that incense stick, camphor, paper are burnt. So, here we can say examples: camphor, wood, petrol, candle, magnesium ribbon are the burning materials. So, we are calling them as combustible materials. Friends, we are calling the burning materials as combustible materials. Then what do we call the materials which do not burn? As friends, you are right. We call the materials which do not burn as non-combustible materials. Okay friends, we are calling them as non-combustible materials. For example, see here friends, in the above, before we did an activity, in that activity rock didn't burn. So, we can take rock, water, brick, pebbles as examples of non-combustible materials. Okay friends, till now we learnt about what is combustion, what are combustible materials and what are non-combustible materials. Friends, some people think that if air flows in a large amount, the fire will be disappeared. But I will say that without air there is no combustion. Will you agree with me friends? Do you believe me? Won't you believe me? How should I prove you friends? Okay friends, I have an activity to prove you that air is necessary for burning. Let's do that activity. Okay friends, here I am taking a candle and I am lighting the candle, I am burning the candle. See friends, the candle is burning. Friends, I said that I will show how the air is necessary for burning. See friends, the candle is burning. Now what I am going to do? As friends, I am going to keep the beaker on the candle. See friends, what is happening here? See, the flame has gone. It is flickering and it has disappeared. Why this happens friend? As there is no air inside the beaker. So, the candle has, the flame has gone off. So, and once again check whether the air is important or not while burning. Once again, I am lighting the candle. See friends, I am doing the same thing once again. I am keeping the beaker on the candle. When it flickers, I will open. See friends, when I am keeping the beaker on the candle, the flame is flickering and it is going to stop the flame. And when I remove the beaker, and again the candle is burning. So, by this experiment, we can conclude that without air there is no combustion. As friends, can you catch my point friends? As without air there is no combustion. See here friends, here this experiment proves that air is needed to burn a material. Some other experiments needed to be conducted to prove that the oxygen present in air supports the combustion. Friends, by this experiment we can say air is necessary for burning. But air is mixture of several gases. Which type of gas is necessary for burning? How can we know which type of gas is necessary for burning? Friends, do you want to see a magic now? As friends, now I am going to show a magic to you. That belongs to which type of gas is necessary for burning. Friends, see here, I am taking a test tube and friends see here, this is potassium permanganate. Can you see here friends? This is potassium permanganate and I am pouring the potassium permanganate into the beaker. Okay friends, I am pouring the potassium permanganate into the beaker. Now what I am going to do friends? Yes, I am going to keep the test tube which is with potassium permanganate on the flame. See friends, what is happening here? See friends, the potassium permanganate is burning. When the potassium permanganate is burning, one type of gas will be released from the test tube. Now the potassium permanganate is burning. After some time, a type of gas will be come out from the test tube. Okay friends? Yes, the potassium permanganate is burning now friends. See here friends, a type of gas is coming out. Now I am going to keep a burned matchstick, a lighted matchstick into the test tube. See friends, what is happening here? I just kept the burnt matchstick, but when I keep the matchstick into the test tube, it got flame. Because why this happens friends? Why the incense stick had got flame? Because there is a gas inside the test tube. Which type of gas is this? As friends, the gas is oxygen. So, friends, are you believing that is a magic? No friends, don't believe that it is a magic. Just it is an experiment to show which type of gas is needed for burning. So, by this experiment we can say that oxygen is needed for burning. Okay friends, which type of gas is needed for burning? As oxygen is needed for burning. So friends, till now we learnt about what is combustion, what are combustible materials and what are non-combustible materials, and how the air is necessary for burning and which type of gas is necessary for burning. Friends, in this lesson my topic is about ignition temperature, types of combustion and fire control. Okay friends, what is ignition temperature? As friends, the lowest temperature at which a material catches fire. The lowest temperature at which a material catches fire is called its ignition temperature. Okay friends. See here friends, the lowest temperature at which a substance catches fire is called its ignition temperature. See friends, the ignition temperature is different for different substances, and the ignition temperature of a substance decides quickness of catching fire. Okay friends. For example, I would like to burn a wood. For example, let's imagine this as a wood. When I want to burn this wood, I have to keep the flame under the stick, and when it gets fire, after some time it will get fire. So when the substance will get fire, the before temperature is called its ignition temperature. Okay friends, the before temperature of burning is called its ignition temperature, and ignition temperature is different for different substances. Okay friends, can you catch my point friends? Okay, you are so intelligent friends, you can catch my point very easily. So friends, the ignition temperature is the lowest temperature at which a substance catches fire. Friends, some substances are there which have very low ignition temperature. Do you know what do we call them friends? As we call them as inflammable substances. Okay friends, the substances which have very low ignition temperature are called inflammable substances. See here friends, the substances which have very low ignition temperature and easily catches fire are called inflammable substances. For example, alcohol, liquefied petroleum, gas and petrol. Okay friends, see here, this is alcohol. This is one of the example for inflammable substances. Okay friends, this alcohol have very low ignition temperature, and petrol is also one of the example for inflammable substances. Okay friends, it have very low ignition temperature and it catches fire very easily friends. Okay, so the materials, the substances which have very low ignition temperature, we are calling them as inflammable substances. Friends, the ignition temperature is different for different objects. See here friends, in this picture we can say that for example, we take two cups and one cup is empty and another cup fill it with water. When we keep the empty cup on the flame, it will burn very easily because paper is a combustible material. But when we keep the cup on the flame with filled water, it will not burn friends. Why? Because the water is non-combustible material, and whatever the temperature the cup receives, it transfers the temperature to the water. So the cup which is filled with water do not burn, and there is no combustion in that process. So by this we can understand what is ignition temperature. So friends, we learnt about what is ignition temperature, and we learnt, friends, I said that combustion is a chemical reaction in which a material reacts with the oxygen present in the air to generate heat is called combustion. I said that I am going to say about types of combustion. Friends, see here, there are 4 types of combustion: rapid combustion, spontaneous combustion, explosion and slow combustion. Friends, there are 4 types of combustion, but in our syllabus we have 2 types of combustion. They are spontaneous combustion and rapid combustion. So, I am saying that combustion is divided into 2 types. One is spontaneous combustion and another one is rapid combustion. So, friends, there are 2 types of combustion: spontaneous combustion and rapid combustion. Friends, what is spontaneous combustion? Yes, friends, you are right. Spontaneous combustion means it is a process in which a material burns suddenly. Okay, friends, it is a process in which a material burns suddenly is called spontaneous combustion. See here, friends, this is the combustion is a chemical process in which a material reacts with oxygen present in the air to generate heat is called combustion. See here, friends, I said that combustion is divided into 2 types. One is spontaneous combustion and another one is rapid combustion. Spontaneous combustion means in the process which a material burns suddenly is called spontaneous combustion. Can I say examples? See here, petrol, spirit, camphor, etc. are the examples for spontaneous combustion. See here, petrol, and this is the camphor and spirit. These are the examples for spontaneous combustion. See here, friends, the material which burns suddenly into flames without the application of any external agent is called spontaneous combustion. For example, petrol, spirit, camphor, etc. Okay, friend, we learnt about spontaneous combustion. Then what is about rapid combustion? As friends, rapid combustion means in a process in which a material burns rapidly and it will take a lot of time, friends. Okay, it will burn rapidly and it will take a lot of time to get flame. These we are calling as rapid combustion. See, friends, here rapid combustion examples: crackers, matchstick, gas lighter. See, friends, here gas lighter is there and matchstick. When we rub the head of the matchstick to the surface of a matchbox, it will not burn immediately. It will take some time. We have to try it rapidly. After some time, it will burn. So, this is the example for rapid combustion. See here, friends, the type of combustion in which material burns rapidly and produces heat and light is called rapid combustion. For example, lighter, gas stove, matchstick, etc. Okay, friends, see here, this is the lighter and matchstick. These are the examples for, as friends, rapid combustion. So, till now we learnt about what is combustion, what are combustible materials, what are non-combustible materials, how the air is necessary for burning and which type of air is necessary for burning, and we also learned that about ignition temperature, what are inflammable substances, and we also learnt about types of combustion. Friends, from the starting of the lesson I am saying how to develop fire, how to increase combustion, but in some incidents we often see that we often see some fire accidents. Yes, friends, we often see some fire accidents. In that fire accidents, we need not to develop the combustion, we have to reduce the combustion. Okay, friends, in fire accidents, we need not to develop the combustion, we have to reduce the combustion. Friends, do you know that the combustion will be on a principle, and the principle have 3 factors, friends. See, friends, the combustion will develop on a principle which is the principle of elimination of factors which support the combustion. So, to develop the combustion, we have 3 factors. What are they? The presence of a combustible material or the fuel. In the first activity, we learned that what are the combustible materials and what are the non-combustible materials. What are the combustible materials? As friends, the materials which burn are called combustible materials. And when there is a presence of combustible materials, there will be combustion. And what is the second factor? supply of air or oxygen. And the second activity I showed that if there is no air, there is no combustion. So, supplying of air also develop the combustion. And what is the third step? As high temperature more than the ignition temperature. Okay, friends. And in the third activity we observe that ignition temperature. If a substance have its ignition temperature, after crossing the ignition temperature, the material will burn. So, if there is high temperature, the material will get flame. So, these are the three factors which can support the combustion. So, when we want to control the fire, we have to eliminate any of these factors. So, if we eliminate presence of a combustible material or the fuel, the combustion will be the fire will be controlled. And or if we disconnect the supply of air or oxygen, the fire will be controlled. And if we decrease the temperature, the fire will be controlled. So, these are the three methods. These are the three methods by which we can control the fire. As friends, see here friends, these are the carbon dioxide cylinders friends. These are the carbon dioxide cylinders, and these carbon dioxide cylinders can help to control the fire. Okay friends, and these cylinders we often see in some hospitals, these cylinders. Okay friends, we can see these cylinders in some hospitals, because if there may be any fire accident, we can use this carbon dioxide cylinder and we can control the fire. And see here friends, this is one of the device which can control the fire. And friends, if there is any fire accident, we immediately call to the fire station, and the fire engine will come. After coming the fire engine, they will spray water to control the fire. And see here friends, water spray. We can spray water. We can also spray water to cool down the ignition temperature and to get down the temperature to control the fire. See here friends, the water spray cools the combustible material below its ignition temperature. This prevents the fire from spreading. Then the heat turns the water into vapors which surrounded the burning material and prevent supply of oxygen to the burning materials. So, the fire is extinguished. Okay friends. In some villages, some people will pour kerosene on them and they will burn themselves due to their problems. So, in the village people don't know the village people don't know when carbon dioxide gas is when the carbon dioxide gas is reacted on them, the fire will be controlled. They don't know about carbon dioxide gas. They just cover a blanket on the burning body. Why they cover a blanket? Because when they cover a blanket on the burning body, the air will not supply to the body. It cannot go through a blanket. So, when they cover the blanket, the air cannot go into the blanket and the fire will be in control. Okay friends. See here, we can also control the fire through a gunny bag. Here the boy is controlling the fire through a gunny bag by covering it on the fire. Okay friends. See here friends, carbon dioxide gas is the best choice used, which is heavier than oxygen. It can be stored as a liquid in cylinders under high pressure. When released from the cylinder, it expands and brings down the temperature. It is mandatory for offices, educational institutions and multi-storied buildings to install fire extinguishers. Okay friends. So, till now we learnt about combustion, combustible material, non-combustible material, how air is necessary for burning, which type of air is necessary for burning, and we also learnt about ignition temperature, types of combustion, inflammable substances and how to control the fire. Okay friends, let us recall our lesson. See here friends, combustion. Combustion means a chemical process in which a material reacts with oxygen present in the air to generate heat is called combustion. The material which burn when brought near a flame are called combustible materials. Some of them can be also used as fuels. The materials which do not burn are called non-combustible materials. Okay friends, see, this is the picture of combustion. Okay friends, combustible materials. The material which burn when brought near a flame, they are called combustible materials. For example, camphor, wood, petrol, candle, magnesium ribbon, etc. These are the examples for combustion. Friends, see here, there is a person who is with flames. In our daily life, we often see some people will burn themselves. So, when a fuel is poured on them, the person will also become as combustible material. This is the live example of combustible material. And friends, see here, the material which do not burn are called non-combustible materials. We saw in the activity rock does not burn and water also do not burn. So, rock, water, pebble, brick, glass, lead are the examples for non-combustible material. Friends, see, we had done an activity about necessity of air for burning. We lighted a candle and we covered the candle with a beaker. After covering the candle with a beaker, the flame has disappeared due to lack of oxygen. Okay friends, see here friends, these experiments prove that air is needed to burn a material. Some other experiments needed to be conducted to prove that the oxygen present in air supports the combustion. See here friends, we had done this activity. We had taken a test tube with a test tube holder and we poured potassium permanganate in that, and when we heat the test tube, the potassium permanganate released a type of gas, and when I keep the lighted matchstick into the test tube, it got flame due to presence of oxygen. So, to prove that oxygen helps in burning, we observe that stick burns with a flame. Here the oxygen supports combustion by helping agarbatti to burn with a bright flame. Okay friends?
When a candle burning, then they want air, but there is no air, it will go soft, and there is a large amount of air, then also it will go soft. Why? What is the reason of it, sir?
Friend, I can't hear your question. Can you please repeat again?
When a candle burning, then they want air, but there is no air, it will go soft, and there is a large amount of air, then also it goes up. Why? What is the reason of it, sir?
Friend, can you please repeat it again? Hello? Okay friends, so this is ignition temperature. The lowest temperature at which a substance catches fire is called its ignition temperature. The ignition temperature is different for different substances, and the ignition temperature of a substance decides quickness of catching fire. Okay friends, so this is the ignition temperature, and we can see the ignition temperature through a lens friends. See, this is the lens, and when we keep the lens on the paper, when we are in sunlight, the sunlight will be on the lens and it will cover the paper, and when the paper will burn, the before temperature is called ignition temperature of the paper. Okay friends?
When a candle burning, they want air, but there is no air, it will go soft, but there is large amount of air, then also it will go soft. Why? What is the reason of it?
Friend, if there is no air, the candle flame is disappeared. After burning also? Friend, I can't understand your question. Okay friends, and I said that inflammable substances, the substances which have very low ignition temperature are called, and the substances which have very low ignition temperature and easily catches fire are called inflammable substances. For example, alcohol, liquefied petroleum, petrol, etc. These are